before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy?
You wanna hold her?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Then you gotta try a little tenderness.
When you're working through finding the right people in your life, it can be tough in a digital world. With swiping apps, digits, it can be confusing. Well, on the Al Travis Show, we have Heather Dugan, our relationship expert, to help with all your relationship questions.
We love having her on the program. She's Heather Dugan. How are you doing, Heather?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I can't complain. You'll share as much as you want to share about this, but you're so weird to me. So I found out just before you go on the air that you're going on a vacation and you're just going to go fly somewhere so you can then walk in the woods there. It makes no sense to me. None whatsoever.
Al, you know, there are things that are never going to make sense to either of us about the other, I'm afraid. But I at least accept that, you know, cigars and golf are very enjoyable for some people.
It's an acceptable form of entertainment. I don't.
Yeah.
You and Sasquatch in the woods. I'm missing something. What you want to get eaten by a bear or a lion or what is your?
That's what bear spray repellent's for. But okay, just substitute. Instead of golf cart, we use hiking boots and poles. And instead of cigar, we have like the Camelback and maybe a little bit of beef jerky or chicken or turkey jerky, probably trail mix and stuff.
You can't even eat beef jerky because it's bad. Turkey. You got to make
turkey
walking
jerky
in the woods with jerky unhealthy,
really
and I got to go the chicken option.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I'm kind of pescatarian, but I will. That's the one thing I will.
Presbyterian. What does your religion have to do with it? Presbyterian.
Pescatarian. I like fish and veggies mainly. So you know. I
didn't even know that had its own name. Okay, I'm learning something.
Well, this is good. We're educational now, Al.
Well, you educate me every week because it's just like, so now, okay, and you're going there, I don't know if you're going with your son because you guys get along well. You travel well together, you said.
Right.
How well is that really?
Oh, it is. It actually is because we're both really we're fine with if we eat what we find, we would scavenge.
I believe that. You're eating coconuts. You're gnawing on
berries and blackberries along the trail, you know, and you know, it just, I don't know. Do you just get along well? And you know, if we talk some and if he doesn't want to talk and I don't want, we're fine with that too. So it's just, you know, it's he's an adult son, of course. They're all adults now.
How far do you go? How do I put this? I'm not going to be mean. I think you're in fabulous shape. You get halfway up the mountain, you're bored. I mean, I would make it 3 steps, but you're bored. You want to turn. Well, how many pine trees can you see on the side of the trail before you get
these
bored?
These are vistas and views, and it's just a communing kind of thing. Okay,
but here's
you
the point.
Commune with like the 8th hole on the golf course. I commune with the view of the mountains and the.
But here's my point. It is an agreed upon thing. You will get done at 18 holes and you go home.
Yeah.
You get tired, you're done, and he wants to go further. How do you guys manage the distance?
Well, sometimes, quite often, it would be the other way around, just saying. But no, we usually have a trail and we do the trail, you know, and if it's the top of the mountain, we go to the top of the mountain and then we come down. And if it's from one mountain or place to another, you know, loops sometimes. So we kind of have an idea how long our distance will be. Sometimes there's add-ons we can do. It just depends where we are.
All right.
And if there's bad weather conditions, you are smart and you turn around. Mm-hmm.
And then what do you do? I mean, you're living in a cabin. You got a hut. I mean, what
depends. It's a caboose. I've done tiny houses. One of our accommodations, and we're only staying in 2 places this time. Usually I move around more because you want to be close to the trails. It just depends what kind of place you're. Oh, I mean,
you want a bed in a swimming pool?
We did Olympic. You know, you stay where you need to stay. You know, we've stayed. I'm trying to get some of the more unusual.
Do you ever tent? Are you lying on the ground? Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah, this time an RV for part of it. And sometimes some very nice condos. So it just depends. I like to have a washer at some point if I can.
I went with my wife and I went with my son and my oldest son and his wife and Puerto Vallarta. We're going to do an all-inclusive thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think overall we had a good time. We got along fine, but you might realize I do vacations differently. When I got down there and there's rolling beach and a cigar, I don't have to go anywhere anymore. I am now in my happy place.
You have filled to the max.
And my son sat with me a couple times. The girls stopped by. They want to go. I don't care what y'all want to do, but this is me. I don't think I'm all that fun to vacation with because they haven't done it again. That was 4 years ago. We haven't been invited back.
You just have to vacation with the right people. You got to find your people for this. So
what if vacation means no people? What if you don't want no people?
But I mean, how much do you need beside you if you've got your cigar and you've got the water?
See,
you know,
and I don't even need the water. I mean, the ocean is fine, but it's really salty. I did not rather enjoy the saltiness of the ocean.
So
but it looked pretty.
Sandbox to put your feet in, maybe.
Good by me. Good by me. So I'm not. So, but do you know how do I put this? Do you know that your son really enjoys this trip, or is it? Dang,
it's voluntary.
There's no. Okay. All right. Voluntary. That's what I want to know. All right. That's fair enough.
But I am going to join some friends in Puerto Vallarta. It's funny you'd mention it. Next year. Of course, we will do some, walking, hiking too. But
where we are at, you need to be careful with that. We had to stay on, I don't know, almost the compoundy area that is protected. You don't just really wander Puerto Rico, as I understand.
I used to run those beaches. I haven't been to Mexico in a few years, so I am a little. It's a little different vibe now, but it's still in the talking stage. I think I'll probably. Do it. But I agree. I don't like being confined, though. That's difficult to feel like, I think it had like explore.
Our place had like 7 restaurants. You get there and you make your reservations throughout the week, so it's all planned. And then you just, okay, what are we doing until we get to dinner time? I enjoyed it. It was nothing on my plate. I read a little. I listened to some music, and I just did nothing. But that's not everybody's.
Yeah, no, I have friends that live down there now, so I mean, it's safe enough, I think, around the city. So, but
all right. Well, I hope you enjoy your walking through the woods with your son and Sasquatch. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll go to break. When we come back, we have one good thing: communicating in the 21st century, almost a quarter of the way through this. How does that work in the dating world? We'll talk with Heather Dugan about it. Good
question, Al.
This is going to get tough. We'll talk about it after this.
Think about it. Now that school's out for the summer, how are Minnesota students doing? Not very well. Minnesota ACT scores fell again last year and are the lowest they've been in 10 years. In fact, fewer than half of Minnesota students can either read or do math at grade level. Think about it. We used to brag about our schools. Now we're losing to states like Mississippi. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
You don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on The Al Travis Show.
She is our relationship expert. She's Heather Dugan, heatherdugan.com. She wrote The Friendship Upgrade. How to handle, all this digital dating and that sort of thing. And Heather, communication's got to be a pain in the backside anymore with the number of ways and how to communicate in a digital age. How does it work?
Well, it's different. And, it's funny. A friend and I were talking the other day. Date Like a Grown Up is the one that really hits the dating stuff, and that book, and which I should probably do an update on. I've thought about that a few times, but it's just there are so many different ways to come at it, and we've got people of multiple communication modes, especially at our age. People are used to one thing, and some have kind of updated a little more into others, but old habits die hard, and if you can't find a way to meet in the middle, you're doomed. So,
let's bust this down a little if we can. The kids today, right? I presume because they've grown up with just being able to Instagram their friends in short little bits, and not even
TikTok
spelling everything.
Yeah,
that's got to hurt them in some ways. You can't get the nuance of a person. How do I put that?
No.
It was better back in the day, and on the phone or meeting in person. I would never be married. I talk.
It's tough.
I'm sarcastic. It doesn't come across in all this new stuff. I think I'd be a fish out of water if I had grown up today. Okay, I'm going to throw this at you. Much younger lady than myself, but still probably past this whole millennial thing. How do you adapt that? You grew up on the phone with a long cord and the boys talking for hours on you in the phone and getting to know it. How do you handle it today at your age? I don't mean that bad. You don't do you? You Instagram?
I am very bad on social media, worse in the last couple years here, because we all get burned out on that. We do. I mean, eventually, and I think that the real hunger and the real difficulty is that people really do need what they don't want to do, which is that face-to-face communication, that reaching out to the person standing next to them in line somewhere. We talked before about men, depending on women to set their social schedules in relationships, because a lot of men don't feel like they have the tools to do that on their own. So you stick them on dating websites and say, here you go. It doesn't always go great for these guys, and they stay kind of in that zone for a lot longer than they like to be in, as in the searching for love zone. And it's not that much better for the women, because we kind of, I think at this age, we kind of know what we're looking for, and we want to kind of cut through the mess, and it can be difficult. Well,
what are the rules anymore? I'm just going to, okay, Heather, Al meets Heather. Al wants to see if there's an opportunity to get to know Heather better. I can't see me doing that. Oh, you gave me your digits. I think the kids hear digits. And then I start trying to text you because you're going to say the kid's an idiot. Even spell check can't correct me enough with my fat thumbs. I'm not comfortable. If I called you, do I have to wait 3 days? Do I have to, if I call too often, is that too aggressive anymore? I know the rules have changed.
It's also, and a lot of it depends. We're all very different people. I think a lot of it is what does the intensity feel like? Somebody I read on Reddit, people are testing how they're doing in dating in Reddit forums and stuff. But a guy's like, I sent a glass of wine to this woman, or he walked it over. And everybody kind of critiqued his approach, how he'd done it. He knew that they had things in common because they were at an engineers conference in the same kind of group. And everybody agreed he'd done it pretty well. They suggested it would have been better if the bartender had brought it over rather than him personally. There was a reason it didn't go that way. But everybody kind of commended his classiness on the he didn't push too hard. He gave her his number to make the decision.
Bust this down. That is not, he is right to bring it over himself. And here's the issue. If bartender brings it over and says, young lady, that's the drink from the guy over there.
Yeah.
Then everything is hinging on how good a look you are. Either you look good enough or not.
And here's the issue. People drop things in drinks anymore. That's an issue. People want to know where the drink comes from.
This is so weird. People stop doing that crap. Okay, I never thought about it. I didn't even think about that.
I know. It's a different world, Al. But I'll give you just a really quick,
Okay.
two men that after my romaine lettuce man, which we talked about one time recently, I still feel like I
For
need to
folks
send
who
him
don't know, this guy just ate a head of romaine lettuce for lunch every day.
Yeah.
No salad, no nothing, just he's a
romaine,
rabbit. Okay.
leaf by
Okay.
leaf. I feel like I need to send him protein bars or something. But so after that, two other contenders, I thought maybe. The first one, we messaged some and we had a lot in common and it looked interesting. But immediately he's pushy, like to the point of, I actually pulled this up. Let me see here. Let me find the right person. Okay, here we go. We do have a lot in common. I think we should plan a Saturday night dinner together. Let's do it, Heather. Heather, we're fun loving. Let's just meet and have fun. Going to pool. Talk to you later. We have connected. What are you doing Saturday night? You know what I felt like? I hadn't said anything. That's just, I felt like I had walked into somebody's house and their dog was jumping up, right? Or, and it goes on. There's more. It's like, let's pick a
you
place.
run from that. You hopefully he doesn't have your address. You stay from that. That's creepy for me.
That's needy, isn't it? And it's like, there's friendly and there's engaging and then there's a kind of obnoxious. That's what that felt like.
Yeah,
because it was just too much. I mean, if he had
then I'm
stopped
sitting
at
here
one
trying.
message.
What if this was just the nicest guy in the world who's trapped
Yeah.
in this? I don't know how to play in this world. I meet Heather. She's so nice. I just wanted to know. And every it's like, see if you took that wrong.
Right.
I can see a guy falling down those steps, if you will, trying so hard. But you stay away from that. There's also lunatics out there. Don't go near that.
There are, and you know what? I think this is probably a very nice. He's a retired fifth grade teacher, so I think he's probably safe. But I'm not. It just totally turned me off, and it went on from there, and it was just a lot of the same. So a lot of it is just knowing how to wait and to receive rather than just like assaulting. Not assaulting,
How much is
but,
How much has it changed since the burning of the bras? Are the women as much needing to initiate that? Because this guy sounds creeper because he's initiating it and he's being pushy. Are women in any obligation to start that and you decide?
A lot of women like to have a little more control in that. And you can open and close doors as you wish, right? As long as you don't open by giving too much information too quickly. But, it's just, it needs to be mutual. And what's happened there, he just totally before he even knew how much interest there was with me, he was all over it. And that just was a turnoff because you want to find out about one another. Okay. Now here's a contrast. This other gentleman, we spoke and we had a lot of interest in the same cultural things, the same sort of travel and physical, hiking, cycling, that kind of thing. So I thought, interesting. Yeah, let's, he asked me to meet for a glass of wine and I said, yes. Well, then a couple days later, I hear from him and it was his brother was coming to town for a concert and he wanted to meet him. So we were going to have to reschedule. And, that's fine. That's fine. In my mind, it could be something else that could be code for, this girl that's 20 years younger than me wants to have a glass of wine that night, or it could be, my ex just texted me. I'm going to see where that goes first. Okay. But, I took it at face value and agreed, okay. It was like going to be a date 2 weeks out. Well, guess what? Mm-hmm. I hear nothing for 2 weeks and I'm not going to initiate at this point. My life's busy and it was on him to confirm.
Reschedule. Yeah.
So 2 weeks later, the day of, a couple of hours before, he reaches out. And at that point I thought, it was probably the ex, that was what it was really, it wasn't a brother, it was an ex, and he messaged me to confirm we were meeting. And I said, I hadn't heard from you. I honestly thought you disappeared. I'm sorry, but can we reschedule? I made plans. And he was super offended.
It's just an auto 2 weeks from now we're up.
2 weeks. And he messaged me from where we were supposed to meet and suggested I just dash down and meet him because he was there then. He apparently hadn't read my message after he asked me to confirm. So he just went and assumed I was going to be there. So again, this is, to me, it communicated a lot though, because it's telling me he wasn't really listening for me
that's
in any
back.
way.
The texting doesn't work. I would be horrid today at this stuff. what I think I read in there, what I didn't read in there to have to reread
Right.
it. This is such a phone call to me or in person. I could not live in today's society.
Yeah.
And survive.
Phone calls are better. Phone calls are better. But, when you're running between things, sometimes you have to make a text. And then when you meet, I don't like to text forever because then you meet and you find out that some people will talk in a way that just is off-putting to you, or whatever. But
with
1 hour.
with 1 minute to go, would you Zoom call? Because here's to me is like this. Maybe our ability to do this would work better for me if instead of the cold call or the text. You want to Zoom?
Yeah, I wouldn't anymore. I want to see somebody, talk to them. If they're worth meeting in person. That's how I feel. So, but yeah, this guy was so offended though. He did not even want to reschedule. So that told me that's kind of controlling. So what lesson?
Kind of. Yeah, you need to dump both these two and let's go to the next one.
There's no dumping needed. I never took it up. So all good.
HeatherDugan.com. Date like a grown up, the friendship upgrade. Love having you on the show. Thanks for being here, Heather.
Talk soon now.
Always a pleasure.